Hi, Marilyn O'Malley here of MarilynO'Malley.com and Ascension Coach to Sensitives and Starseeds. And today I'm going to talk to you about doubt. So we're going to come up with how to create more certainty when life feels so chaotic. So first of all, I'm going to define doubt. I'm going to describe how it shows up and why, and how it'd change or overcome your doubt and move forward. So, what is doubt? Doubt is a feeling of not knowing what to believe or what to do, or the condition of being uncertain, hesitant to believe. It's to be uncertain or undecided about something or someone, or to have difficulty believing something. So, where does doubt come from? So, doubt is caused by change. And when something in your life is going to change, then you have a belief about it and the world and the outcome. And so, doubt will come when you are in a place of uncertainty and you don't have confidence in yourself to move forward through that uncertainty. So I want you to take a moment here and think about all the ways you've already, all the things that you've had doubt about, that you have already moved through. Because one of the things is that we'll have doubt thinking that that something is brand new and it's uncomfortable and we don't know the outcomes of it. But when we realize that we've been through a lot of doubt in our life and we've come through that uncertainty and landed in a place that we made it through, that helps us have more confidence in our ability to get through that doubt or uncertainty, so the doubt doesn't stop us, so it doesn't put us in stress and we freeze up, right? So I want you to think about, here it is, like going to school. When you're a little kid, will I fit in? Can I do the work? Can I be as good as somebody else? When you're making friends, are they going to like me? Are they going to love me? Is it going to work out? And this is all from when you were very small up to where you are now, right? So anytime you're experiencing something with a friend, you remember back that you got through that with other friends. Learning to swim or ride a bike, right? We didn't know, oh my God, I'm going to get in the water, I'm going to sink. Or getting on a bike and then falling off, but realizing that again, you just get up and you keep going, and you see yourself riding that bike, right? Learning to drive a car, falling in love, moving away to college or moving away from home for the first time, moving to a new place, a new school, a new city, applying for a job. For those of you who are married or having a family or deciding to have children, traveling. Every time you travel, there's uncertainty, right? So I want you to just see besides the stuff that we focus on a lot, that there is a lot of uncertainty that you've already overcome, and so you can do this. You can do this. So understanding too that change is a part of life. In fact, it's the only thing that you can really be certain of, is that there will be change. And so one of the things too is to get used to that it's all right to have uncertainty in a lot of ways, and I'll explain that in a little bit, but also what do I want to say? Sometimes uncertainty is positive and sometimes uncertainty is challenging. So when is uncertainty positive? That's like novelty, when you want novelty, going to a play and you don't know anything about the play or a movie, right? Traveling, when you travel, you have no idea, but you're excited about it. You're open to possibilities. You know, it creates that childlike wonder in you, and so it spurs new ideas. And it doesn't matter where it comes from, but I want to share with you that that there's always going to be change. You're always going to be changing, unless you get stuck because of this doubt. And I'll share with you ways in a few minutes about where that comes about. But rather embrace that there is uncertainty, and a lot of times that uncertainty is very exciting, and it's new experiences, and it's novelty, and it's meeting that love that you're going to have for the first time. It's meeting the having a baby. It's going to that new city and exploring it and finding out and creating new friends. So there can be a lot of uncertainty, and then there are the challenging uncertainty, like the time we live in right now, all the different things that are happening in all the different countries and in the governments and businesses, and there's just feels like a lot of disruption happening. But I want you to understand that a lot of this is, when there is uncertainty, it's what I call the chaos before order, because things have to break down before before they can be reordered. And a lot of times that will, and that can be very uncomfortable, right, for a lot of us, because there's a lot of stuff then that's out of our control. And some of the times that around uncertainty, what we want to do is take control. So we'll try to control everything, back to over control. And I would say for a lot of you sensitives, who I know are also perfectionists, we have to really watch this here, because our perfectionism, if we don't feel like we know the outcome, right? So perfectionists don't like uncertainty. We like to have everything in place for everything that we can conceive that would happen, so that we can determine an outcome. So we're trying to control, right? And you can't. There's a lot of things that are out of your control, and then when you're trying to do that too, you become very uncreative. So I'm asking you to think about learning to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So learning to be comfortable with uncertainty and know that there's pros and cons to it, but I'm going to give you a way of how to be with it and not think about it that it's going to take you down or it's going to stop you in your tracks. And I want to share with you, only 1% of the population really likes change. I happen to be one of those people. And so, most of us think of change. So I'm thinking most of you think of change as painful. And so I want to, and a lot of that is because how you've been taught about change. So whatever change was happening in your life, and how your parents looked at it, and how your community or whatever, all your influences, all your influencers, however they looked at change, and thought, or challenges that would come in, or being in that chaos and order, you have been programmed to look at yourself and your ability to deal with that, to handle that, and to do something with it, and also about the world. So it's your perception about change. So do you believe, has it been reflected back to you through your parents, through your teachers, through your community, through your peers, that you are really good at handling change, that you're good with the being spontaneous and going for things and trying new things. When you have that sort of confidence, then uncertainty isn't going to bother you as much as somebody that has grown up with parents who are like helicopter parents, or somebody who's been like, oh, watch out, don't do that, like the world's unsafe, you're unsafe, you won't handle it, you're fragile, or you don't know, you're not smart enough, you're not good at, somehow you've gotten the impression that you're not enough, so that you can't do that. And if you grew up with that too, then you probably shifted into the perfectionist. I'm going to be perfect, and I can handle it all on my own, and I'm going to show them, or whatever, different things that you could go through it. But still, you're in that perfectionist where things can't be uncertain. You want to know what they are. You want to control them. That's a habitual way of thinking. So what have we learned so far is that doubt comes from change happening and our perception about how we can handle that, and whether it's a challenge or whether it's exciting. So just shifting our perception about change and uncertainty is a real positive in us being able to handle it. So for some of you, so let's talk about people who are ascending. A lot of the uncertainty is we're feeling all these things in our body. We have all these changes that are going on. It feels very confusing, and also impasse. Like when you don't know how to manage your energy and manage your mind, that you are like a leaf in a hurricane with all the people around you and the things that are happening around you. And again, when we're going through ascension, we're downloading things and uploading things, and our bodies are changing, our chemistry is changing. There's different things, and it just can feel chaotic, right? So and that chaos is, if you think of it, it's an opportunity. It's that place where we're leaving parts of us that behind, and we're adding new things to our way of being, but nothing's in place yet. There isn't an order yet. It's like it's like you going through this ascension process. What happens is you have to pay a lot more attention to self-care. So if you are not somebody who deals with self-care, is eating well, sleeping well, moving your body, doing some energy work, grounding, clearing energy, so of all the people and things that you're taking on, if you're not doing that, now you're going to be shifting from not caring for yourself to caring for yourself. And so what would that look like? So now you're kind of like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to take care of this, or what does that mean? Or, so there's no plans, there's no structures in order yet. Right now, it's just like, this is just happening to you, and you're just in it, moving around in it, right? And so that, just understand, oh, things are coming into order, and this will be part of the 7 steps to overcoming limiting doubt, to change, which I will share with you shortly. But so I just want to get you, that's what you're feeling. And so then you're doubting all the things. Will this really work? What's happening to me? Am I sick? Or is this ascension? You're doubting, are you crazy or not? I mean, sometimes it feels crazy making. And it can feel crazy making in the chaos of everything before you learn how to clear everything out, because you're taking on everybody's energy. So you could have somebody around you who's depressed, somebody who's anxious, somebody who's really happy and high and carefree and full of love, and you just feel you're feeling all of these and thinking it's your energy, and then you're depleted because you give and don't take care of yourself. That it makes you feel like something's wrong with me. So just want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. You just are in this process of discovering who you really are and how to take care of yourself. Okay, so I've got all my notes to keep me on track here. So most people are more comfortable staying in certainty of what they know, even though it's bad for them, because it can be because they're certain of it. So that's what addictions are. Like, it's hard to leave addiction. I know a lot of I worked with a lot of people who had addictions for quite a few years, and it was like they knew what was going to happen then, but they didn't know who they would be and how it would be, and that uncertainty was overwhelming to them. And I want you to get too that, like, as sensitives too, all of that chaos and stuff can be really overwhelming to us and overstimulating. And so we think we have to go off and hide and or disappear or shut down, and that's really avoiding the issue. We don't want to be avoiding it. We're going to help you come up with ways to be with it that is really empowering, calming, peaceful, grounded, and you're going to feel more comfortable, right, with being uncomfortable, and you're going to see the benefits in doing that. So one of the things, as you can hear, you're going to have to learn how to trust and have faith in your ability to respond and create your world. And I'm sharing with you that you are more powerful than you can imagine right now. And yes, you are imagining. So let's imagine what you want versus what you don't want. So again, another way to look at this, the chaos before the order, or uncertainty versus before it's something certain, is you're having a breakdown before there's the breakthrough. And again, it's the same thing, that the breakdown is when you're in the chaos and you're deciding what past habits and conditionings you're going to let go of, and in order to bring in new habits, new thoughts, new ways of being, practices and stuff that is going to help move you towards the future that you are currently in doubt of whether you can get there or not. So as sensitives, the other thing I want to share is that creates doubt is sensitives. We have an incredible inner world. So that means our ability to create in our mind is brilliant. And it can take us places and create things as writers, artists, anything that you do, we're very creative in it. But the one thing too that happens is that we in a couple seconds can have an idea that comes to us, and we can take it from it's just like, if we started thinking about all the things that could happen while we were flying, like within 15 seconds we're like dead. So I want to give you an example of that. So how this might turn out, where doubt would come up for you, right? So say you have a new job and you're going to that job and everything's new about it. So you're going to meet new people, it's a new place. And so what happens is, instead of envisioning, a way that, like, okay, I've got this, right? I've got this. I'm I'm going to meet some wonderful people, being really excited about the uncertainty of things and the novelty of it, and being excited about what you're going to learn and how you're going to grow. And that you're going to bring value to this company, and etc., right? But instead, our creative mind would go, oh my gosh, what if it's overwhelming? What if they have me doing too much? What if I can't learn it? What if people don't like me and love me? What if what if my boss is a narcissist? What if they don't get sensitives, and then I'm going to feel like an outsider? Or I'm overwhelmed by all the people and actions around me. What if I fail? What if I succeed? There's all these what ifs is the uncertainty, right? And our mind can go there, and then it's just like, oh my God, I'm going to suck at this, and it's my life's going to change, and I won't have time for anything else. And see how we just take it down the wrong road, and it just becomes so overwhelming that we almost get you might turn the job down. You might go do something else because you're feeling the doubt and the fear of that uncertainty. So see how this works. So it's like, so the other thing that I talked about too, as a sensitive and a starseed, is we're very empathic. So we're picking up on information all over the place, and if we can't manage that in the right way, then it again is overwhelming to us, and it drives our life rather than having us drive our life. So that creates a lot of overwhelm, overstimulation, and anxiety. And then you're picking up on whatever the people around you are feeling, right? So, so to give you an example of this, say somebody's in a relationship, and the relationship is not a good relationship. And so say they're like 3 months in and they're wanting to get out. But they know how this person's going to feel, and they don't want that person to feel this way when they get out, so they end up staying in instead, because it's like at least they know how they're going to be now, but the uncertainty of what will happen, and then that creative mind taking off, like, what will they do? How will that affect me? How am I going to feel, right? So you start thinking up and creating all these stories in your head, very creative stories that are going down the wrong way, rather than you really saying, I can handle this and they can handle it, and figuring out the right way, a healthy way to do this. So we all want more certainty. So we can break through our fears and feel safe and secure. So the uncertainty means we don't feel safe and secure. And most of that is because we're thinking we can't handle it. But if we think we're innovative, we're creative, we're good problem solvers, that whatever comes our way, we'll figure it out, we'll do it, there's possibilities, we can ask for help. All you perfectionists, once you start asking for help and knowing you don't have to figure it out on your own, that takes away a lot of that uncertainty. People come in and then you feel supported. As a perfectionist, and with the impasse and stuff, if you don't feel supported, you're going to have a lot of doubt. And again, that is because you feel, because of past programming, not because you're broken, and that is something that you're believing. All right, so we have to remember that certainty is an emotion that allows us to move towards what once seemed impossible. So once we kind of gain some certainty that I'll figure it out, I can do this, then that is like an energy that helps us propel us forward. And also when you go into that, then your intuition and everything will kick in. When you're feeling creative, you start talking to people or asking for help or sharing your ideas, right? Because it's like, I'm going here, I'm getting this. Then then, the law of attraction takes place. You feel good about you, and that's a whole another energy that's kicking in. So and that happens through your ability of confidence too. So taking one step at a time, seeing, oh, I got there, did this step, now I can do another step, and then just going one step at a time instead of taking leaps. And I think a lot of times people take leaps in their consciousness when they're thinking about whatever is showing up, and it's the leaps that seem impossible, and so you start doubting. Like I worked with people who are stuck on, they have a book or two or three in their head, but they don't want to write them. They're afraid of success because they feel like, well, if I'm successful, then I won't have my privacy. I won't have, it just like takes away things to them in their mind. They've made up this story that it's going to take away from them, weaken them, disempower them, even though this is a story they want to tell and they feel it's really important, but they have this idea that that it's certain that they're going to lose their power, they're going to lose their privacy, they're going to lose their time and their energy and be depleted by other people demanding their attention because they've written this book. See, that's a lot of times our stories turn uncertainty into certainty that doesn't serve us. So we have to watch that too. And that's what creates the doubt in us. Then I can't handle it. So whatever, you believe, that's the life that you create. So this comes to, we need both certainty and uncertainty. Uncertainty can shut down and liberate you. And with certainty, you can get what you want out of life. So, the secret to handling change and uncertainty is to focus on progress. And if you can make progress on a regular basis, then you'll feel alive and you'll be excited about the uncertainty and certainty that you're creating. You won't be in as much doubt. You'll be in the process of creating, which the doubt won't show up while you're creating, right? So the first step of how to create more creativity when life feels chaotic, first step is to change your focus. Create a vision. Remember, so I said we were visioning. A lot of times our mind, we have a very powerful creative mind, but let's vision towards what it is that you desire, what really matters to you, where you want to go and what you want to create. So we have to watch that. The majority of people that I work with are visioning what they don't want, right? Their biggest fears and everything. And then you have your body living that. And that, of course, once you get your body into fight or flight or freeze, and you've gone through that, then you're really going to be, that doubt is going to be implanted strongly in your mind. So visualizing is very valuable, and creating a vision of what you truly want is powerful. And so, because we want to get you out of that worry and doubt. So, so one of the things, so say you are doubting that you're ever going to find a relationship, that your love of your life. It's just not going to happen. You just keep attracting the same person over and over again, and they're just not right. And you just like, there's all the good men are taken. You have all these sort of negative beliefs that you've come up with or been programmed to believe. Different things that come in, and it's just not allowing you to find somebody that you want to be with that would be really good for you. And so what happens is that what we want to do now is get a vision of what is a love relationship to you. And when we do this, and actually I have a program called Your Life Vision Course. It's a 7-day online course. Takes you through 14 different areas of your life. But through your love, I'll just give you an example here in your love relationship and why this is important. Um, Taking you through and seeing first, what do you believe about love? What do you believe about relationships? How have you been programmed? You know, do you see them as something that's inviting, something enticing, something that excites you? Or do you see it as a problem, as overwhelm, as giving yourself up, not having any control, overwhelming, you know, different things like that. So you look at, wow, you get to see the things that are limiting you, right? Because that's where the doubt comes in, is these beliefs that are saying, you're not going to have it. There's nobody out there. You're just going to attract this, you know, your beliefs about yourself, your world, and about having a relationship with a man. And then we go into, you know, so what do you want? What ideally would a loving relationship look like if you had positive beliefs about what is possible? If you go into that possibility, what would that look like? You know, so it might be that we have great communication, great sex, we respect each other, we solve our own problems, we do our own work, we don't blame each other for our own areas of growth where we're growing. We have similar values. So those can be, that's just a beginning. That's just a beginning. What would you do together? Travel the world, build a home together, raise a family, you know, have a farm, work together. So those are, and then those are the first two things. And then we look at why. Why is this important to you? Why does this type of relationship matter to you? Because it's the whys that are the fuel underneath. That's the fire. This is like your soul speaking. Because you want to answer to your soul. You want it to, you know, you're looking at what would it cost you if you didn't find your love relationship, and what would it, and what would you gain from it, and who would gain from it. So those all resonate and create more certainty, right? So we're creating, this is where you're going, and then the fourth part to it is you create structures like how can I start moving in this direction? What are the things so maybe you need to go get some coaching on relationships, do some of your inner work and let go of the old beliefs and habits and thoughts that your perceptions about men and love that you have, or women and love that you have, or do some readings. And maybe you need to get out and date because you're not dating, and being very honest. So there's a variety of things, but see how just having this vision, so now when you start to doubt that you've ever going to find your partner, you can just be like, no, this is where we're going. And this is why it's important to me. And you have all of that. It's very clear. And when you get this down and write this down, your life will almost immediately start to change. And so having a vision is number one. Number two is monitoring your mindset. Remember, I was talking about what your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings are about the change, or about what it is that you want, that you're doubting, where you feel uncertain, and refocusing it towards your vision, refocusing it towards possibilities, refocusing it towards your potential, just the next step. Even it's just like, I can do the next step, I can do this, I am enough, I am smart enough, I've done this before, I see other people doing it, if they can do it, I can do it. You know, so there's a whole, just like, we have to reprogram how your mind is working. And so that takes you immediately out of the doubt, and starts getting you excited about your future, right? And then, so I'm trying to think, yeah. So the next thing is you're going to take action every single day. You're going to take action towards what you want. So say if we're doing the relationship thing, so one of the things might be, is just monitoring your mindset, doing that every single day. Start watching where your beliefs are. Like, oops, like don't gossip with your girlfriends. Don't sit around and talk about negatively about men. Start looking for. You might start just noticing great relationships around you, or what a great relationship looks like, or get a book on relationships and start reading what's a healthy relationship, what does that look like, where do I need to do my work first, and then I can go out and speak my truth and find somebody else that resonates with that. So and that again might look like, so if you're not giving yourself self-care, it's having self-care, self-love, health, again, doing research, might putting things on your schedule, making time to go out, putting that on, and finding ways to do that with friends, or inviting friends, or going on a dating app, whatever you do. It might be deciding, what am I going to let go of, what am I changing, and what's the next thing that I'm going to do. It might be networking, going to different events, creating support systems, having an accountability partner, getting a coach or a therapist, or going to the doctor and putting a health program together for yourself. Getting your teeth done, hair done, nails done, buying a new dress, new underwear, something, anything to make you feel good about yourself. But might be buying a ticket to the concert, buying a ticket to go travel to a new place, visualize, meditate, collaborate with somebody, depending on what's going on. Trauma healing, like I said, inner child healing. Start to ask and receive. Start, if you're a perfectionist and you haven't asked for help, just start asking little things here and there, and then let somebody give it to you. And spend time with friends, getting yourself out of stress. So I'll give you an example of that. So my partner Jeff and I were building a home from scratch, and this it's going to be about 5 years ago that we bought the land, and we've been through all these different things that we had no idea. We thought we'd be in a house 3 years ago. So all these different things have come up, and I want to shortcut it. Sometime maybe I'll share the whole thing, but here's the thing: is like we would go back to the drawings. We go to the land and work on our land. We spent time on our land. We go have sunset cocktails on the land. Even though the house wasn't being built, we were cutting, trees, or working or moving boulders and stuff like that, waiting for things to get into place. So it was always our land. We were always immersed in it. And then there was a lot of like kind of inner work that we each were doing separately. I can't speak for him, but for me, I mean, at one point when the houses were burning down here in Santa Barbara and Ventura and stuff, with all the fires, I had to deal with like, wow, I almost feel guilty for building a house. When people are losing their houses. So I had to do a lot of inner work about my worthiness to have this house, to receive this house, to feel like a frickin' queen, and how many people get to do this. And so, there's a lot of inner work that I had to go through, and I'm sure Jeff's gone through. And finding our way, in this whole thing. And now they're building, yay. But it's just like, and there were periods where I had doubt, like, oh my God, is this going to happen? And I would face that. I would say, well, what would happen if it doesn't happen? What's that going to feel like? And and I went there, and then got back to, but this is our vision. And so you have the times you doubt, and then you look at those, and you say, is there anything saying it's not going to happen? It's like, no, but it's just not happening the way that we thought it was going to happen. And like I said, we have learned so much. I can't tell you how much we've learned in this whole process about so many things. And I see building a house is like building a business, like building a relationship. It's all interrelated. So, how you are in one area of your life is how you are in a lot of areas of your life. So keeping that certainty, finding ways to create some certainty out of the chaos, and knowing who you are, and that you can handle it, you can go through it, and it is a process, right? It is a process. So the fourth step is raise your vibe, or standards. So no more status quo. So it's what I was talking about before, was you have to look at your life in a different way. And it has to go to the next step. You have to be excited about what's coming into you and not dreading it. Whatever you're expecting will arrive. So if you're expecting the worst, or nothing, look what's happening. And if you expect the best, and you expect things to happen, they will happen. Again, they might not be exactly how you imagine it, because a lot of times they come out even better than you ever expected, than you ever could have imagined. But the thing is that you just have one place where you're going, and you're setting that. Wherever you set a limitation, there's going to be a limitation. So allowing yourself to start letting go of the areas of your life, looking and seeing where you have decided that something is certain. Like, you've decided it isn't going to happen. Well, where did that happen? How did that come about? Why are you certain you're not going to be able to create that? Why are you certain you're not going to get that job? Why are you certain that guy's not going to like you? Why are you certain, or girl? So it's just like, how are you certain about that? Because there are infinite possibilities in all different ways. So even if you said the highest good for all concerned versus I don't know, right? Let it be the highest, let it be for the best outcome for all concerned. That's much better than it won't happen, or any of your limiting thoughts, like I can't handle it, I'm not good enough, all those old childhood conditionings. So and watching what you think you deserve, right? I was talking about our house and whether I deserve this or not, and growing into that, even though it's been a dream for a long time. And so when a lot of times we will keep ourselves in the place that we think we deserve instead of moving forward. So when you, like in your business, like you're ready to go to the next level, and you almost everything's in place and it seems to be moving that way, but all of a sudden you have some doubt, because now some things you need to pump it up a little bit more. You need to become more abundantly thinking. You have to learn how to handle money in a different way. And so you are feeling overwhelmed to look at money, because that's a place that you don't feel you're good enough yet. To really create and do the work that you're here to do in the world, it requires you to have an abundant mindset, to see how abundant your life is, even without the money, but knowing that you need the money in order to create the success or support the other people that you're supporting or that are working with you, etc. That there is a totally an expansion that needs to happen, right? An expansion that needs to happen in order for you to go to the next level. And a lot of times that's just by you taking care of yourself and feeling love, loving yourself even more than what you were, being excited about your life, excited about what's coming, being happy. What makes me happy? And doing that. This is not a suffering contest. This is not a work yourself to death life. This is about you finding and expressing yourself in a way that is in alignment with your soul energy or who you really are, not your conditioning. And so by you realizing that what you have is valuable, then that will be and that you are valuable and that you are honored and you respect yourself and you care for yourself, then a lot of that doubt and uncertainty will go, and you will trust your connection to everything, and you will trust yourself to be able to handle whatever it is that comes. And so you're learning to manage your mind, your energy, and how what shows up in your world, because you are the one that is creating your reality through your mindset, through your actions, through your habits, through your emotions. All right, so the next one is make progress a must for you. Like you have to keep moving forward. Even just and really you can only know the next step. It's not a leap. It's just, what's the next step? Like I said, research, talk to somebody, self-care, drinking more water, getting 8 hours of sleep, whatever that next step. And then when you do that next step, then another one will be revealed to you, and then you'll have choices for once, and then you just take that one. So it isn't like, okay, one step, and if you do a step every day, then you will all of a sudden be there, and it's amazing. Use your intuition. Number 6 is use your intuition and multidimensional energies to guide you towards your vision. So this is really important. So if you're in doubt and that's taking you into fear and constriction and freeze, then you cannot be creative. And when you're not creative and you're not open and expanded, then you're not going to let the energy come in, intuition, the information that could really help to guide you. And as a sensitive and a starseed, you are highly intuitive. Now, you might not have it fine-tuned yet, but to really start counting on your intuition guiding you. When I first got divorced from my ex of 24 years, moved across country, left all my friends, and started over here in Santa Barbara, I used my intuition all the time about what group I should join. Where finding my homes, finding clients, etc. So I'll give you a couple of examples. And even before I moved, it was 2 weeks. The movers were coming. I had to find a place, and I knew where I wanted it. And I was flying out at the busiest weekend here in Santa Barbara, and I had 2 friends in town, and I stayed at this one person, flew in. It was and they were saying to me, Marilyn, you're crazy. We have friends that have been looking for a year to find a place and they haven't found a place yet. This is the busiest weekend, blah, 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 blah. And I had an intuitive hit that I was going to hear from a friend of a friend, and that's how I would find it. But I opened up the papers and I was looking, and you just have to take steps. You just have to go and take steps no matter what. And the other thing is not buying into the people's fears around me. I had to let go of all those fears. I had to be in the present moment, and I just kept, I could have gone into great doubt and fear. Believe me, there were plenty of times that I started to go there and I pulled myself back, and it's like, nope, it's going to happen. And so I started and I would get the little anxiety and stuff, and I'd be like, nope, this is where we're going. I had my vision, right? Had my vision, knew where I wanted, that's where I'm putting my attention. And so I ended up looking at like 3 places, and I was just like, no, I'm not going backwards in time. And then at the 3rd place, I get this call, and this woman says, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm a friend of my other friend who I did not stay with. And there happens to be a condo here in a great place. It's in the area that you want it. And the owner just happens to be here. Come now. And so I went over. It was perfect. The owner was there. I think he wanted $200 or $400 more than was my budget. And I told him, this is all I can pay. And he says, I want you in. I'll give it to you for that price. In less than 24 hours, I had a place using my intuition, keeping my focus, and not letting doubt get in the way of all the uncertainty. And I found my second house that same way. And I found, when I first got here, I said, well, what group should I join? What networking group should I join? And I ended up joining this one networking group. It was where I met Jeff, my partner for 14 years. So, and I would do that for like, what party do I go to? Am I called to go to that party? And at some parties would be like, I didn't know anybody, I was by myself, but something said, go to that party. And that was a place where I would meet a new friend, or I would meet a client, or I would meet somebody that had connections for me. So I know intuition and using your energies, and realize too, your multidimensional energies is your vision. Your vision is really powerful as your intuition. So imagine those two, right? Your vision, you're putting that out there. Your guides and helpers and manifesting angels and everything, they're working for you. And then you have to stay really conscious and open and excited about what's coming, excited about the house that's coming, excited about the partner that's coming, excited about the business that's coming, and happy and just savoring life. I remember I would just be like, I just felt like so turned on. And that's what I ask you, be turned on about your life and about you and the possibilities that are showing up. And that doubt will go away, and the uncertainty will be something you're excited about, not turned off by. And the thing is, for you sensitives and starseeds, and what I had to do, right, is you're turned on about life, you're doing the things you want in love, but you're still also taking care of yourself. So you manage your mind, you manage your energy in ways so going out and doing that is not overwhelming. It is not overwhelming. It's just like you're in the flow. So the last thing is practice, practice, practice. Because it is practice. It's like the first time I tried this, it didn't do that. I worked for years before, I have to say, so probably there was a good 3 years before I moved, but I knew to not buy into everybody else's fear. There were certain things I practiced my mind, I practiced managing my energy, I practiced being healthy, taking self-care, all the things that I needed as a sensitive, as a starseed, to be strong, to be grounded, to be operating from me, and not letting the world outside of me and the chaos that was happening run who I was. To know that I am in control of how I respond to the world. I am in control of how I take care of myself. I am in control of what goes on in this mind. What I want to choose to believe and what I don't want to choose to believe. I am in control of my actions or non-action. That's an action too. So, so you have to back up your standards. So who you are, who you want to be. Again, if you, you know, I just know it's so important. That's why I'm promoting this. I don't usually promote my stuff, but your life vision is a really powerful online program that when you get that will start shifting your life, and now you'll know what to focus on. So you can override all of that uncertainty and create right actions and right mindset. So in this crazy world that we're living, yeah, there's a lot we don't have any control over, but we have control over how we perceive it. And, you know, one of your things can be don't watch the news, you know, and holding that higher energy of unconditional love or compassion for others, but also taking really good care of you, because when your energy is good, it influences good energy all around you and into the universe. So you are fluencing it all the time. So I hope this helps. I know this has been a long one, and but I think it's an important one. From what I'm hearing, because I'm hearing there's a lot of doubt out there right now, a lot of doubt and uncertainty. And so a lot of the things that we talked about in different ways, I have on my blogs or in my YouTube, that you can go and do some of the inner work around that, or like I said, getting your vision, having your vision out there, so that you can, because the thing is you'll go back on autopilot if you don't change where you're focused, right? Because it's habit, it's just a natural habit. So you have to know what you're moving towards instead of just doing the habit of what you're avoiding, right? All right, and any questions, feel free, ask me, give me a call. If you want a free discovery session, we can go over what you're working on. I can explain this further or take you through a process. Because this is really important, because you're really important. All right, until we meet again, love, live, and matter. Marilyn O'Malley.